Hello, everybody. We've had a question come in from one of our followers, and I wanted to address it today because her problems, I've run into the same problem. As you all know, whenever Joy and I go on trail rides, we're in the woods. It's single file trails. We're some of the few people that actually sell and train trail horses that actually take them out on the trail. And we concentrate on putting them in bad positions, rough positions, so the horses are able to handle it whenever the people get them. The question from the woman was, her horse does really good in the woods, but when she rides out in an open field, her horse kind of loses her mind. Now, I've run into that too. What's the deal is whenever you ride into the woods close in around you. That horse kind of feels secure. He's got a single trail going down through there. He knows where he's supposed to go. He knows all this stuff. And it's just pressure. You know, we talk about pressure a lot. It's the pressure of the forest. And he feels comfortable in there. And you keep riding and riding and riding in the forest, and then you come out in an open field. My God, there's a bunch of stuff to look at. The winds are blowing, the grass is flopping, and it's just, it will blow a lot of them's mind. What I highly advise you to do, y'all know I preach one rein stops. There are trainers out here that say, I'm not teaching that, I'm not doing that because one rein stop, you can flip one over. Yeah, bull crap. You can flip one over if you don't prepare your horse to do one rein stops. There is a lot more to all this stuff than meets the eye. Preparation, preparation, preparation. Condensed training. Concentrated training. The problem is, people don't understand really, in order to have a great trail horse, how much training goes in that thing. They can talk about the show horses all they want to. It does take a lot of training to get a show horse ready to show. Let me tell y'all something. It takes just as much training to get a trail horse out here safe and in the real world. It takes just as much training. To get back to the question, I would get out in the field, I would stop, and I'd do just one rein stops. Stop and just flex, flex, flex. Make sure my horse is giving. Then I would ask her to take a step, a slow step. Just ask them just walk. You on our Patreon page, I talk about this all the time. How many horses can you get on and just barely squeeze them and they just slowly walk off instead of taking off? Just slowly walk off. Let her walk 20, 30 yards. Sit there and one rein stop her. Start flexing her. Let her walk off. If it's closer than 20 yards and you feel her start getting nervous, shut her down. Shut her down. The main thing is don't get to going fast. We had some ladies in here last week, and I explained to them, look, with speed comes stiffness. You have to teach softness whenever horses has speed. We start out here at the walk, teaching softness, teaching giving. We teach all that stuff. And then we'll ask for it at the trot. The same stuff at the walk and the trot. And once we get the trot down, then we go ahead and work on the lope and get them soft at the lope. When you ride your horse out in that open field, what's going? Their mind. Their mind's what's going. Your horse isn't paying no attention to you. The horse isn't relying on you. Okay? The horse is kind of feeling like they're out there on their own. What you've got to do is do your groundwork exercises on their back. I've been talking about a lot of that on our Patreon page. You can do this groundwork and get real proficient at it. Folks, sooner or later, you're going to have to crawl on their back. You're going to have to ride them. Have I had some horses in here that I was just dreading the day when I had to get on them? You bet I have. 2 of them in particular. But I can tell you right now, the gentleman that's got one of them horses came here and rode it for 3 days. He's an older gentleman. He actually has Parkinson's. And got along great with those horses. Do you want to know why? He got along great because I'd done my job. I put a foundation on her. I had her soft, supple, and light. I had her staying between my hands and my legs. And I showed him what to do. We rode 3 days in a row in some of the roughest country you've ever seen. And he got along great. They were tickled to death. That was a horse that was pulled out of another trainer's barn and came here. Because that trainer said all she wanted to do was buck. And yet, the old gentleman's riding her. He's riding her on the trail today. They left here and went to Big Creek. And got along fine. So that's what I'm telling you. When you get out in these open fields, that's your problem. Your horse is not paying no attention to you. You need some tools in the toolbox to get those horses' mind back on you. Any problem you have, that's not your problem. If it's a horse's head too high, if it's a horse running through your hands, if it's a horse dancing around, if it's a horse not standing to mount, those are not your problems. What you have is a crappy foundation on your horse, and your horse don't respect you. Your horse can't put no faith in you. Your horse is looking for a leader. Do you remember in some of my videos I've put up, the horse is constantly seeking the level of the rider. He's constantly seeking the level of the rider. If your level's down here, he can meet that with no problem at all. But if you raise your level up, he's going to do everything he can to try to come with you. You have to be in charge. Our whole training that we're doing here is about having control of your horses. Having control of your horse. If you have control of your horse, guess what? You've got a safe horse. You've got a horse that's not running through your hands and running off. You've got a horse that's not trying to buck your ass off if you have control of your horse. It's all about control and respect. Look, folks, we love trail riding. We just had one of the best weekends we've had in a long time, which we've been in this barn all summer. We haven't been able to go anywhere. But we went to a new place. We absolutely love it. You can bet your life we're going back. It is a great training area. The terrain is perfect for training horses. And we're going to be going back there quite a bit. And so, yeah, go out there and do your exercise. Walk in a circle. Bend that horse. Pull his head back this way. Do figure eights. Do something to get him to calm down. And stop. And let him sit. Drop your reins. Let him sit there. Give him a rub. And just sit there. Look. You've heard it all your life. You can't run till you can walk. You got to walk before you can run. And yet, a lot of times we get on these horses and we just take off. Whatever you're wanting to do on your horse, if you can't do it at a slow walk, how in God's name are you going to do it at the trot and the lope? I mean, you can't. The reason why you can't is you haven't prepared your horse. That's like the new rules here at the barn on taking people's horses. Look, if you're wanting 30 days here at this barn, don't even bother calling us. Our prices are what they are. It's going to be a 60-day minimum. 60-day minimum. Now, if you come here and you bring a horse here and you say, okay, I'm going to leave it for 60 days. And in 30 days, something comes up and you want to come get it, it's your horse. You're welcome to come get it. There's no guarantees how broke that horse is. And I'm going to tell you why. I had a talk this morning when I went to get feed with another horse trainer. The biggest problem out there is people pushing these horses too hard. They're pushing them too hard. They're not looking at the long range end of it. They're looking at it right now. I come from an old line of cowboys. They would get on them colts, and I love these people dearly. But they would absolutely ride those horses to death. Well, when you came, yeah, you get on him and ride him. Hell, a monkey could. He was so tired, he didn't care. What happens when those horses freshen up? How much have they learned? What happens whenever he's been kicked out in the pasture for 2 weeks because somebody's feeling sorry for him because he's too tired? And after 2 to 3, 4 weeks, they decide on Saturday, Sunday afternoon they're going to go out there and ride their horse. And he piles their butt. That's what I say. I'm not going to be pushed on these colts. I'm going to do the best of my ability that I have acquired over the years to get you on. And I don't care if it's a 2-year-old. And you people out there worrying about a damn 2-year-old, you can keep worrying about it. We've broken a bunch of them here this year. And I guess really the word I shouldn't say is broken. We have started them and started them correctly. And we have taken them out in the woods and we have not rode those horses to death. A lot of times they never even broke a sweat. But those horses, I promise you, are better than most 8, 9, 10-year-old horses that's been ridden for the last 5 years. I know so because I get them in here all the time. I'd much rather get on that 2-year-old and go. So, that's what I'm saying. I'm wanting y'all to come on, give your horse something to put some faith in. Okay, you that asked the question about the open fields, look, go out there, sit down, do a lot of bending, do a lot of serpentines, walking in circles, do a lot of flexing, get his head plumb around there where he's walking forward and his nose almost touching your boot. Do things like that. And then just stop and let him sit there and try to sink it all in. He needs to think, I'm in this open field and there is nothing out here eating me. That's what he's needing to think. Make it as enjoyable as you can. Don't trot. Don't lope. Don't do nothing. Just walk. Guys, just walk. And let those horses relax. Let them relax and you get some control on them. Don't go to pushing like everybody does, including a bunch of trainers. Don't go to pushing them horses. Offer the horse something and let him figure it out. And if you'll do that, he will remember it for the rest of his life. That's what I do. I offer him a way out. Here's your way out. Now you figure out how to do it. And just sit there and hang with him. And once those horses figure that out, they're great. We have living proof of it right here with our Patreon page. All these horses, we've been in the barn for a month doing groundwork on those horses. We filmed the first time out in the woods. Joyce rode behind me and filmed it. Those horses went everywhere we pointed them. They had never been ridden out in the woods in their life. And they give us no trouble. But the reason why they did is because we had instilled some faith in one another. The horse had faith in me and I had some faith in him. Okay, here we go. This is what we're going to do. And it worked out really good. And it's working out great for our customers. We've been getting a lot of messages here lately. Horses that have been turned out all spring and summer that we had sold last year. They had gotten those things up and saddled them up and rode them off with basically no groundwork whatsoever. And that was the thing with the horses in here. Whenever we loaded them up and went to the trailhead, I done no groundwork. The groundwork I done was let them over here and saddled them up, load them in the trailer and went. When I got there, I stepped on them and rode them off. So that's what I'm saying. Just take your time and slow down. So anyway, y'all have any questions, you would like to ask any questions at all, feel free to contact me and Joy, and we'll be happy to help you.